Welcome. Our mission was to sort through the London Fire Brigade's data and to make it more understandable and draw conclusions from it. As you can see, there's a lot of data.
Okay, so for the first question, we have made it possible for a user to select a fire station and then all the vehicles assigned will appear. So for example, now we're clicking on Barnet and all the registration number will appear, the model will appear, the make, the vehicle category, the type of vehicle and the station will appear. Now for question 1b, we've made it possible to view this map using the Excel spreadsheet. So for example, if you want to see Forest Hill Station, we click on Forest Hill and it shows us where the Forest Hill fire station is, just here. And if you want another example, we can show where the Wimbledon station is. So we click map and it shows us where the Wimbledon fire station is. The user can now select a make or operational status of a car and see the corresponding type of vehicle and station assigned to it. For example, when the user selects the make BMW and filters the result to only show active cars, the station and type of vehicle will be listed. Maybe show another example, for example, Mini, here, shows only active operational statuses, whereas Peugeot has zero active cars and only one in training.
By creating a pivot table, it was possible to see that 3 stations responded to the same amount of requests for help from the London Ambulance Service over the past 5 years. Stations are Dagenham, Sutton and Woodside, with 10 responses each. We saw that the data pre-2011 was irrelevant to the question, then filtered through to select only data that regarded bariatric, overweight and large patients.
Continuing question 2, we made a count of the bariatric incident they've had to respond to for each year summed up in the table. As you can see from the graph, depending on which filter you use, you can see the difference in change over the past year. But for example, if you look at all the stations for all the years, all the incidents, for all the stations, they rose from 2011 to 2013, then significantly decreased to 2015, and then rose back up till 2016. More specifically, Finchley had 2 incidents from 2012 to 2013, and then rose to 3 in 2014. But then they've had none in 2015 and 16.
For question 3, we were asked to figure out which is the most common type of incident that the London Fire Brigade had to respond to. From incident records 1, we gathered that false alarm had the most common records. From incident records 2, we gathered that false alarm again had the most common. And then figuring it out, adding them all together, we figured out that false alarm had the total most amount of incidents.
Again, using a pivot table, we sorted through the data, and using the top 5 places with the most common incidents, and which was false alarm, we found an average of the time it took for the fire brigade to arrive. Westminster had the largest with 307 seconds, and the lowest was Lambeth with 258 seconds.
For 3B, we deleted any data pre-2012 in order to get the data over the last 5 years, representing the top 5 areas of London with the highest amount of incidents. The top results are Westminster, Camden, Tower Hamlets, Southwark and Lambeth. We did this by creating a pivot table and adding a filter that showed us the top 5. For question 3D, we were asked to find the average attendance time for the most common incident areas over the past 6 years. The data spans from 2011 to 2016, giving the average time for each area. The areas are Camden, Lambeth, Southwark, Tower Hamlets and Westminster. Now we can filter through the results and find out just what happens in 2011. By changing the dates to the 31st of December 2011, we're reducing the span, and therefore we can see all of the dates. We can do this for every year. So for example, we can do it for 2013. So if we change it to the 1st of January 2013 and the 31st of December 2013, we can see all the attendance times for 2013.
The 3 of the top 10 locations with the most false calls in 2014 are in Camden, University College Hospital with a total of 75, St Mungo's Broadway, total of 60, and Royal Free Hospital with a total of 56. The head of fire safety at London Fire Brigade said, "We want to work with hospitals on this issue, which is why we will wait until the 10th call before we start to recover our costs. We also work with them to see how they can improve the maintenance and management of their automatic fire alarm systems. False alarms are a public safety issue as they can cause complacency. When they go off all the time, there can be a tendency for people to ignore them. In the case of a real fire, this could be disastrous. They could also delay attendances at real emergencies." This was from an article from the London Fire Brigade, which was in February 2015.
People living in East Anglia face some of the longest waits for an ambulance, according to new research. The NHS sets a target that 75% of life-threatening calls are responded to within 8 minutes. However, 999 callers in Essex will have a median waiting time of 38 minutes, while those in Norwich will usually wait around 28. According to The Guardian, it also unsurprisingly shows that there is a sharp divergence between fast ambulances getting to the scene in rural areas compared to those in urban ones. The divide is particularly stark in Wales and Northern Ireland, where people in the countryside may have to wait up to 15 minutes more than those in towns and cities.
By comparing two maps of London, one showing the boroughs, the other showing wealth distribution across London, it's clear that Bromley, Richmond upon Thames and Harrow are the wealthiest areas. Comparing our data that we've analysed, there is no correlation between the number of bariatric incidents across London and the wealth in these areas. According to the bariatric incident files, Bromley had the second highest with 21 responses, 13 in Harrow, which was the median value, and the second lowest was Richmond upon Thames with a result of 5.